My name is Mark. I used to think I had everything. A wife who smiled every time I walked into the room. A best friend who stood by me since college. And a life that felt like it was heading in the right direction. But sometimes the people closest to you carry the deepest knives. Sarah was my wife for 6 years. She was smart, kind, and beautiful in a way that didn't scream for attention. We met at a friend's wedding. She laughed at my terrible jokes and danced with me until midnight. I fell fast. We got married a year later. Jason, my best friend, had been with me since college. We were roommates, brothers from different mothers. We celebrated each other's wins, shared beer on the bad days, and built memories that felt unbreakable. Jason even helped me plan my proposal to Sarah. He called her Sis. The three of us were like a little family. Every summer, we went on trips, beaches, mountains, you name it. We'd do double dates with Jason and his girlfriend Lisa. She was sweet, quiet, and seemed really into Jason. Everything looked perfect on the outside. I had a good job in tech. I worked from home mostly. Sarah worked as a marketing manager at a fashion brand, which kept her busy, but she always made time for us. Jason worked in real estate. Our lives moved fast, but we always made time to meet every Friday night for drinks or dinner. One night, we were sitting by the fire pit in my backyard. Me, Sarah, Jason, and Lisa. We were laughing about a game we used to play in college. Jason leaned back in his chair, looked around, and said, "Man, this feels like home." I remember smiling at that. I really believed we had something rare, something solid. There were little things I used to love. Waking up and seeing Sarah making coffee in her fluffy robe, Jason dropping by unannounced with donuts. Us playing board games on rainy Sundays. Those small moments made up the big picture of my life. Looking back now, I wonder if the smiles were real or just masks. One evening, I came home early from work to surprise Sarah with flowers. She wasn't there. Her phone was on the table, which was unusual. She never left without it. I set the flowers down and waited. 30 minutes passed, then an hour. I texted her, "Hey, everything okay?" No reply. Finally, she came home around 9 p.m., hair done, new dress, makeup still fresh. "Hey, I thought you were working late," I said. She blinked. "Yeah, just meetings ran long." "Where's your phone?" "Oh, I left it by mistake," she said, avoiding my eyes. I smiled and nodded, but something felt off. That was the first crack. I wanted to believe it was nothing. Maybe I was overthinking it. But when someone you love starts to feel like a stranger, the silence between you becomes louder than words. After that night, things started to change, slowly, like a dripping faucet that turns into a flood when you're not paying attention. Sarah became distant. She started going out more. At first, it was small things, late meetings, girls' nights, yoga classes I had never heard of before. I didn't want to be that jealous husband, so I smiled and said, "Have fun," even when my gut was screaming something else. Then came the phone. She never left it lying around anymore. It was always in her pocket, even in the house. She started locking it, changing passwords. I once asked jokingly, "What, you hiding the nuclear codes in there?" She laughed. "No, silly, just work stuff." But it wasn't funny, not to me. Even Jason started acting weird. He canceled on our Friday hangouts more than once. No real excuses, just got plans or not feeling well. The last time I saw him, he looked nervous. He wouldn't hold eye contact, kept glancing at his phone. When I asked if he was okay, he gave me this weird smile and said, "Yeah, just tired, bro." That wasn't Jason. He was never like that with me. We told each other everything. Or we used to. I started putting the pieces together, even though I didn't want to. My mind was racing, but my heart kept saying no. They wouldn't do that to you. I didn't want to snoop, but one night, when Sarah was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. It was unlocked. I swear I wasn't going to look, but curiosity, or maybe pain, made me do it. The message was short. "Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about you." It was from Jason. My stomach dropped. I sat there, staring at the screen like it was written in another language. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to believe it was a joke, a misunderstanding. But it wasn't. I didn't say anything that night, or the next. I needed to be sure. Over the next week, I watched her. I watched them. I saw how she smiled when she got certain texts, how her phone lit up and she'd grab it like it was a lifeline. I watched Jason avoid me like I was made of fire. I logged into our joint bank account. She had made hotel bookings, twice, same place, midweek. She never told me. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I followed her. She said she had a work dinner. I waited a few minutes, then got in my car and drove after her. She parked outside a hotel. I sat in the car, heart pounding, palms sweaty. I waited. 10 minutes later, Jason pulled up. They went inside together. I felt like my chest had been cracked open. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I took out my phone and recorded a short video of them walking in together. I needed proof. I didn't want to just accuse them. I wanted the truth to slap them in the face the way it had slapped me. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch in the dark, replaying everything in my head. The laughs, the memories, the moments that now felt like lies. They broke something in me, but I wasn't going to let them break me completely. I started to plan. Not just any plan. Revenge. The next morning, I looked at Sarah like I always did, but this time, I saw right through her. She kissed my cheek like nothing was wrong, like she wasn't sneaking around behind my back with the man I once called my brother. Got another late meeting tonight, she said casually, pouring her coffee. I smiled. Of course. Take your time. She looked relieved, like she was still fooling me. But inside, I had already started writing the script for what was coming. Step one was silence. I didn't argue. I didn't confront. I played dumb. I needed her to believe that I was blind and broken, that I had no idea what was happening, that I was still the same clueless husband who believed in the fairy tale. At the same time, I started planting seeds. I met with a lawyer, quietly. My prenup with Sarah was solid. I had insisted on it when we got married, mostly for business reasons. She laughed back then and said, "You really think I'd ever leave you?" I had laughed too. Not funny anymore. The lawyer helped me get things in motion, freezing certain accounts, collecting digital evidence, and preparing for what was about to come. Step two was Jason. I texted him, "Bro, I have a crazy business idea. I need someone I trust. You in?" He called me right away. "Man, of course I'm in. What's the idea?" I told him I wanted to start an online coffee business, something we had joked about back in college. He loved it. I acted excited, told him I wanted us to be partners. I showed him fake investment plans, fake supplier quotes, and even a fake pitch deck I downloaded online and edited with Photoshop. He bought it. He transferred $45,000 into a business account I had opened in my name. All of it was legal. I had the paperwork. I had his signature. He didn't read the fine print. He was too busy thinking about money and maybe Sarah. Step three, Lisa, Jason's girlfriend. She deserved the truth. She had done nothing wrong. I started texting her anonymously from a burner number. Sent her screenshots, photos. I knew it would hurt her, but I couldn't let her be blind anymore. She didn't reply at first, but I knew she was reading everything. Then came the final step, the dinner party. I told Sarah I wanted to start over. Said I missed us. Said I wanted to host a big dinner, just close friends and family, to celebrate our love. She cried, hugged me, said she was glad I hadn't given up on us. I kissed her forehead and said, "Me too." I invited Jason and Lisa. Told Jason to bring the investment paperwork so we could finalize everything. He was excited, thought he was getting rich. I also sent an invitation to Sarah's parents, strict old-school religious folks who thought I was the perfect son-in-law. They had no idea what their daughter had been doing. And then I made one more call to her boss. He was an old friend from college. I told him I wanted him to come too. "It'll be a fun night," I said. "You'll see." Everything was set. They had betrayed me, but they were about to learn what betrayal feels like in front of everyone they cared about. The night of the dinner party arrived. The house was spotless. Candles were lit. Wine was chilled. Soft jazz played in the background. Everything looked perfect, just like the image we used to show the world. Sarah wore her favorite blue dress, the one I used to love. She kissed me on the cheek and said, "This feels nice, like old times." I smiled. Yeah, it really does. Inside, I was ice. One by one, the guests arrived. Jason walked in first, wearing a suit and a smug grin. He hugged me like nothing had ever happened. Lisa stood beside him, looking nervous. She hadn't spoken much lately, but I knew she had seen everything I sent. "Big night, huh?" Jason said, giving me a wink. "Very big," I replied. Then came Sarah's parents. Her mother hugged me tightly. "Mark, we're so proud of you. You're such a good husband." I smiled again. "Thank you. I try my best." Her father gave me a firm handshake and nodded. "God bless your marriage, son." I nearly laughed. Finally, Sarah's boss arrived. I shook his hand, offered him a drink, and thanked him for coming. He looked confused but polite. Everyone sat down around the long table. Plates were filled, glasses clinked. Laughter floated through the air like it belonged there. But I was counting seconds. After the main course, I stood up and cleared my throat. Before dessert, I just want to say a few words. Everyone quieted down. Sarah smiled up at me. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. It means a lot, especially because I have something important to share. I walked to the TV mounted on the wall and pressed play on a video I had queued up. It started with Sarah and Jason entering the hotel together, holding hands, laughing. The room froze. Sarah's smile vanished. Jason's fork dropped onto his plate. Gasps, then silence. The next clip played, screenshots of their messages, flirty texts, plans to meet, even a selfie from the hotel mirror. Lisa stood up, trembling. "You bastard," she whispered. Then she slapped Jason across the face so hard the room echoed. She grabbed her purse and walked out. Sarah tried to speak, her voice shaking. "Mark, please." I held up my hand. "I'm not done." I turned to her parents. "This is who your daughter really is. I loved her with everything I had, and this is how she repaid me." Her mother covered her mouth. Her father stood, red-faced. "You are a disgrace," he muttered. "We raised you better than this." Then he walked out with his wife, not even looking back. Jason sat frozen, mouth open. I turned to him. "And you? My best friend? My brother?" He looked like he wanted to disappear. "Let me give you one more surprise," I said, pulling a folder from a drawer. I dropped it in front of him. "Here's your investment. It's fake. The business doesn't exist. You gave me $45,000, legally, willingly, and it's all gone." He opened the folder, eyes scanning the documents, panic rising. "You can't do this." "Oh, but I already did," I said calmly. "Everything was legal. You should have read the fine print." I turned to Sarah one last time. "We're done. The divorce papers are in your inbox. And by the way, I'm keeping the house, the cars, and the savings. Thanks to the prenup you signed when you said you'd never leave me." She broke down in tears. But I felt nothing. For the first time in weeks, I felt free. As guests quietly slipped out, I stood alone in the wreckage of what used to be my life. But it wasn't wreckage anymore. It was a clean slate, and I was ready to start over. The house was quiet after everyone left. Too quiet. I walked through the living room, where just an hour ago laughter had filled the air. Now, wine glasses stood untouched. Chairs were pushed back. The scent of perfume and roasted chicken still hung in the air, but the energy had shifted. It was no longer a celebration. It was a funeral. For lies, for betrayal, for the man I used to be. Sarah sat on the floor near the fireplace, still crying. Her makeup had run down her cheeks. She looked up at me, eyes swollen, voice cracking. "Mark, please. I didn't mean for this to happen." I stared at her for a long second. Then I said, calm and cold, "I know exactly what you meant to happen." She crawled toward me, reaching for my hand. I stepped back. "You made your choices, Sarah. You made your bed with Jason. Now you both get to lie in it." She shook her head, sobbing harder. "You don't understand. It wasn't just about him. I felt alone. I felt—" "Don't," I interrupted, my voice sharp now. "Don't try to blame your betrayal on me. I gave you everything. My love, my loyalty, my life, and you threw it away for what? Cheap thrills with my best friend?" She collapsed into her hands. I walked past her, into the study, and shut the door behind me. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I sat down and took a deep breath. It was over. The next morning, I packed my things. I moved into a condo across town, small, quiet, clean. My lawyer took care of the divorce. Quick and easy, thanks to the ironclad prenup. Sarah didn't fight. She couldn't. Jason tried to call me. I didn't answer. He sent texts, pages of apologies, begging me to talk. I blocked him. Weeks passed. Then one afternoon, I got a message from an unknown number. It was Lisa. She wrote, "I just wanted to say thank you for telling me the truth. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Maybe someday we can meet for coffee." No pressure. I smiled for the first time in a long time. Not because I needed revenge, but because I was finally past it. A few months later, I left the city, moved to a new place, started a new job. I focused on myself, therapy, working out, reconnecting with who I was before all the lies. I learned how to breathe again, how to sleep peacefully, how to trust my own judgment. And then, one random day, my phone rang. The name on the screen made me freeze. Jason. I answered, not because I cared, but because I was curious. His voice was rough, tired. Mark, man, I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. Sarah and we tried to make it work, but it's a disaster. She hates me. I hate myself. I lost everything, man. My money, my friends, my reputation. I stayed quiet. I wanted to say I miss you. I miss what we had. I'd give anything to take it back. I waited a beat. Then I chuckled. Jason, I said, you already gave everything. You just didn't know it. And I hung up. That was the last time I ever heard from him. Sometimes I wonder how people live with themselves after hurting others like that. But then I remember, that's not my burden to carry. Mine was to heal. And I did, one step at a time. It's been over a year now. If you'd told me back then that I'd come out of all that chaos stronger, I would have laughed in your face. But life has a funny way of showing you your own strength when you're forced to stand alone. I live in a different city now. Smaller, quieter. It's the kind of place where people smile at each other in the grocery store, where the coffee shop knows your name and your order, and where the nights are calm enough for your thoughts to settle. I've built something new here, something peaceful. I started my own consulting firm, just me, a laptop, and a handful of loyal clients who trust my word. It's not flashy, but it's honest, and every dollar feels earned. I also started seeing someone. Her name is Emma. We met at a bookstore. She caught me staring at a novel I'd already read 3 times. She laughed and said, "That good, huh?" I told her it was better the 3rd time. We talked for hours. She knows everything. I didn't hide my past. I told her about Sarah, about Jason, about the betrayal, the revenge, and the dinner party. She didn't judge me. She just listened, and then she said something I'll never forget. "I'm glad you didn't let it make you bitter." That stuck with me, because I could have stayed bitter, angry, cold. I had every reason to be. But I made a choice. I chose to heal, to move on, to live again. Every now and then, I still get messages. A new number, no name, just 1 or 2 words. "Sorry, please, can we talk?" I never reply. Sarah and Jason are ghosts now, echoes of a life that no longer belongs to me. I've heard rumors. Sarah lost her job not long after the dinner. Her boss didn't say anything that night, but apparently he didn't like the way she represented herself outside of work. She tried to find something new, but word travels fast. No one wants drama. Jason tried to start a business on his own. It failed. He lost even more money. Word got out about what he did. Friends stopped returning his calls. He's not trusted anymore, not even in his own circles. They tried to stay together for a while, but how do 2 liars build anything real? They turned on each other. Fights, breakups, reconciliations. More fights. Eventually, they split. Mutual destruction. I don't take joy in it. Not anymore. The truth is, I don't care. I have peace now. A woman who sees me. A job I love. A life that feels right. People always ask if revenge is worth it. Here's what I think. Revenge doesn't fix the pain. It doesn't undo the betrayal. But sometimes justice looks like clarity. It looks like standing up, taking control, and saying, "I see you, and I'm done with you." That dinner wasn't about hurting them. It was about healing me. And today, I'm healed. And that's the real win.